Welcome to V-Speed and tonight's presentation of the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League. Live tonight from Motegi for race number 4 of 10 in this summer season. Looking forward to a great race here tonight at this very famous racetrack built in 1997 here in Motegi, Japan. Looking forward to these guys racing the GT4 machines in the 4th race of the season. Lots of work to be done by many drivers to fight for the championship as we're approaching the halfway point in the season. And looking forward to great racing as always from these drivers as they tackle the challenge that is Motegi. Take a look at the points coming into tonight's race in just a moment here. My name is Adam Baker and I'll be your commentator here tonight. Make sure to check out our social media, V-Speed Sim, as well as our YouTube channel. We go live each and every night throughout the week. Make sure to tune on in, like, share, subscribe if you enjoy tonight's broadcast. And we do appreciate you tuning in here to the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing Series. So let's take a look at those points as we enter into Motegi. After race number 3, Michael Pavolano going to be at the top of the standings with 1 win. Maddox Razzo also with a victory. Harley Lewis up there as well. Currently quickest in qualifying is Harley Lewis, so looking to try and capture another victory potentially tonight. Brian Kennedy, Dean Tulin, Adam Pohl, Mike Nickham, Scott Kim, Colin Kornick, and Matthew Gazenda rounding out the top 10 in the standings. Smaller field once again tonight, but not going to be short on action. And you can see how close it is all the way back to 10th in points, only 15 separating first place from 10th, and that really has to do with the 2 drop races that they get throughout the season. Those have already been factored in, I believe, so the points going to be your lowest finish is going to fall off, and it is going to be a very close season, I think, with the amount of participation that we've had, and you know, already 3 different winners this season. So should be a lot of fun as we keep an eye on where these drivers are in the championship and throughout tonight's event. We head trackside in the final moments of qualifying, and it is currently Brian Kennedy at the top of the charts. We'll look at tonight's race analysis. Harley Lewis falls to second there, 3.5 tenths off. He did have the fastest time up until just a moment ago. Dean Tulin, Bruce Wiley, Matthew Gazenda, Mike Nickham, and Scott Kim rounding out the 7 drivers in the field so far tonight. As always, 2 20-minute races is the format for the evening. Going to be inverting the field tonight. It'll be all drivers being inverted. Usually it's the top 12. If we had more than 12 drivers, the drivers who finish 13th on back would not be inverted. Top 15 in each session. So qualifying, heat race 1, and the feature event all earn points. And again, this is race number 4 of 10. Motegi being just under 3 miles in length and 14 turns. Lap times are right around 2 minutes. And that will give us about 10 laps, maybe 11 laps in total per event. So should be entertaining to watch these guys fight for it here as we are headed to the starting grid tonight from Motegi. Cheer on your favorite driver. Let us know you're out there who you think could win tonight's events, and we will try and follow along throughout the evening. So taking a look at the qualifying times, we'll start with that. Brian Kennedy going to get the fastest lap there, 1:59.056. He'll have to be inverted all the way to the back. Harley Lewis going to join him back there with a 1:59.416. Third fastest was Dean Tulin. 4th, Bruce Wiley. Matthew Gazenda 5th. Mike Nickham 6th. And Scott Kim going to be 7th quickest there in the qualifying session. They will be inverted, though. So you can see Scott Kim going to be rolling off from the front of the field. Mike Nickham, Matthew Gazenda, Bruce Wiley, Dean Tulin, Harley Lewis, and Brian Kennedy going to be rolling off in that order. We've got our track map up there tonight, so you can follow along with the drivers as they battle it out from Motegi. You can see the shape of the racetrack again. 14 turns. There's also an oval here at Motegi, the twin ring. And they actually cross over each other, but they're not going to be running the oval tonight. That would be interesting, though, in the GT4 machines. Each of these cars with their different advantages and disadvantages. Looks like we have 5 BMWs in the field tonight. 1 Porsche, 1 Mercedes. We'll see which cars have a little bit more of an advantage around this racetrack with some straights and some technical sections. Looking forward to watching these drivers do battle here, and this is the full course layout. There are some other courses of Motegi that a lot of drivers on iRacing would be familiar with from the lower series in official racing. As Scott Kim, the pink mustache machine, gonna be getting us going here tonight from Motegi. Green flag is out, and we're off and away. Good battling so far. Look at this, 3 wide at the back of the pack. Harley Lewis trying to work his way on through, but actually going to get shuffled all the way to the tail end. Dean Tooling goes around the outside. They still continue to battle. Now the Ford machine going to be able to take the 6th position away. Brian Kennedy is in the Porsche with the Gunfire Games livery on there, and then Bruce Wiley, you see him back trying to put some pressure on Matthew Gazenda. That would be for the 3rd position. Harley Lewis and Dean Tooling still fighting it out. 84 takes the spot back, trading positions there, 6th and 7th. Scott Kim continues to lead. Mike Nickham starting to close in already here on lap number 1. They work through this tight left-hand turn. Number 10, kind of a hairpin, a long hairpin. They'll work their way back around down a long straightaway towards turn number 11. Scott Kim, nice run through those last couple of corners. He is going to be able to pull away now about 4 or 5 car lengths and still battling at the back of the field. Dean Tooling and Harley Lewis, no advantage as they head down towards turn 11. We'll see who's a little bit later on brakes. Looks like the Ford machine of Harley Lewis going to send it in deep, but maybe a little too deep. As they work under the bridge towards turn number 12, they're still going to be battling it out side by side, maybe even a little bit of contact. Very close racing. Harley Lewis going to take the spot away as they work back onto the front straightaway. Fun stuff here so far at Motegi as these drivers all fighting for position. And Bruce Wiley takes a peek down. Drivers right. On the 52 of Matthew Gazenda, not going to make it happen though. Here comes Brian Kennedy, who's got a great drive off the corner. As they work back towards turn number 2 and 3. It's turn 2, now into turn number 3. Big slide from the 77 of Brian Kennedy though, and he's going to go off into the sand. Still trying to gain control of that race car, and he'll keep it out of the wall. But that will send him all the way to the tail end of the field after he was battling to take the 4th position away. He falls to 7th, but still within striking distance of the rest of these drivers. Didn't lose as much as he possibly could have there. Close call. Brian Kennedy was trying to gain some points and was already fastest in qualifying. We'll see what he's able to do and make up some ground here. Scott Kim feeling that pressure though. Here comes Mike Nickham, the AMG, closing in. Turn number 10 down the long back straightaway underneath the banner. Kim with the advantage for the moment. 2 car lengths the difference from 1st to 2nd. The 711 machine looking very solid in these opening laps. No major mistakes from anyone other than the slip up by Brian Kennedy. And here comes Mike Nickham. Almost took a dive down to driver's left. Through the final corner, turn number 14. It's still going to be Scott Kim, who's got a really nice drive off the turn there. And nobody's stepping out of line. Still single file as we tick down to under 16 minutes. And we begin lap number 3. So it's going to either be just at the mark for 10 laps in this one, or we may end up getting to the stripe just before tick down to 0, and we might end up getting an extra lap, actually. We'll end up seeing, but Matthew Gazenda starting to close in, goes a little bit wide through that last corner. Was within about 2 car lengths as he now goes down into the turn. Bruce Wiley really strong on braking there. Here comes Mike Nickham, almost gets alongside the 7-Eleven. Scott Kim. Go from Kirby hanging on to the top spot though. And a change for Scott Kim, who goes from running his usual Porsche machine back into the BMW. Top 4 all nose to tail. Move Harley Lewis up to 5th after the mistake from Brian Kennedy, and he is starting to close in. So 5 cars nose to tail. Dean Tooley and Brian Kennedy falling off just a little bit here, but they'll look to see if these guys get to battling up in the top 5, and that will pretty much instantly catch them back up. And they'll have the benefit of a little bit of slipstream right now. Still nose to tail. Scott Kim leading the way through the last couple of corners on this lap. A little tight through there. Good run by Mike Nickham, though. He's going to close it up to 1 car length. He'll have a little bit of an advantage with the slipstream as they work down into the braking zone. Turn number 1, he's going to send it in. Not quite deep enough, though, to get alongside. Harley Lewis almost takes a stab at the 4th position. Trying to find some advantage somewhere, but everybody running such close lap times. That's how competitive it has gotten in this league. Scott Kim continuing to show the way, slips the back end just a little bit on turn entry, but he has led all the laps so far after starting on the pole and looking to try and capture a heat win, which would be very impressive and much needed for a battle in the championship. And there goes Bruce Wiley around from the middle of the pack. Dove it in a little bit too deep and almost ran over Mike Nickham there. Let's take a peek at this. Go back to the replay. Sends it in really deep and actually did make some contact. That upset the balance of the car. Nobody else makes any contact. That'll send Bruce Wiley back to the tail end of the field. Top 2 now with a tiny bit of breathing room over Matthew Gazenda. They're going to get to battling. Mike Nickham right there. Bring back onto the front straightaway, very close behind, and usually the AMG has a little bit of the straight line advantage. Not quite a long enough stretch here on the front row. Look at Dean Tooley under fire from Brian Kennedy. Remember, 77 made that early mistake in this one. Cannot complete the pass that time. But it's about to be 6 cars all battling out here. Bruce Wiley about 7.5 seconds back after his spin. Really competitive tonight. This is, I think, probably the closest we've seen the whole field together. As side by side now, Matthew Gazenda loses the position. Harley Lewis goes right on by. Not sure if that was serving a time penalty for the 52, but lost some ground and falling back to the clutches of Dean Tooley in the 84. Top 6 Scott Kim with a good advantage right now, about 6 car lengths. And the AMG machine of Mike Nickham starting to feel that pressure now for 2nd place. Harley Lewis is there. His charged from 6th at the start of the race. Keep an eye on the 4 machine. Biggest mover so far in this one, up 3 positions. Brian Kennedy trying to get some positions back. He's been able to close back up to the tail end of the field, and he is putting heavy pressure on the 84. Dean Tulane. Scott Kim leads them once again back towards the start-finish line. This time it's about a car length. And he goes to a defensive line down into turn number 1. Interesting move there, but that actually caused some issues on entry for Mike Nickham, who almost got the 4 machine Harley Lewis alongside. Brian Kennedy once again peeks out driver's left, not going to make it happen that time. Dean Tulane not phased. They work down through the corners. Turns 3 and 4. Or rather 2 and 3. They work back towards turn number 4 now. Here's Dean Tulane putting the pressure on Matthew Gazenda, and Brian Kennedy took that opportunity to jump to the outside, but does not have enough grip in the Porsche. The car looks a little bit unsettled for a lot of this race compared to the BMWs and the AMG. That may be just the off-road excursion causing the tires to be a little dirty, and maybe that slip put a little bit too much heat in the tires. Nickham closing in once again. Can Scott Kim get a heat race win? He'll have to start from the rear of the feature race. We see how close everybody is tonight. It's very competitive. Turn number 10 back towards turn 11. Bill with the advantage. All these cars separated by about a car length or less. They spread out a little bit down the straightaway. No opportunities to pass at the moment. Nobody quite close enough. Brian Kennedy continues to try and force a mistake from the 84. Just has not gotten that mistake to happen. Back across the start-finish line. Closing in on 7.5 minutes in this one. 77 to Brian Kennedy took a big stab at that battle, and you can see the Porsche just not happy tonight. Here comes Harley Lewis, maybe taking a shot at the runner-up position. Mike Nickham's going to send it down in. Actually going to make a run for the lead. There's going to be contact between the 57 and the 7711, and Harley Lewis gets on through. We're going to go back and watch that replay from overhead. We'll be taking a look at what happened. Look at the big dive there, a little contact, and then Harley Lewis says, "Thank you very much." Change of hands. Scott Kim goes from first to third. Mike Nickham stays in that second position. Big send by the 57. He felt the pressure, I think, from the 4, and ultimately could not take the lead away. And Harley Lewis has come from 6th back to the front. Brian Kennedy's been able to get around Dean Tulane while all that was happening. Move him up to the 5th position, and you can see big move there to go to the right side of Matthew Gazenda. A mistake from the 52 cost him a bit of time, and here comes Dean Tulane actually going to go for a pass as well. He will complete that. So Matthew Gazenda losing some ground back to 6th place. Tulane right back to where he started in 5th, and Scott Kim now going to feel the pressure from fastest car in qualifying. It's Brian Kennedy. So Scott trying to finish on the podium here. He's got some work to do with under 6 minutes left. Fastest car in this race so far was Brian Kennedy. That must have been early on 1:59.37. Harley Lewis, the second quickest car with a 1:59.76. But everybody hovering right around 1:59 or 2 seconds for their fastest laps of the race. So been close. Brian Kennedy now going to look to the inside of the BMW machine of Scott Kim. Scott going to shut the door. 77. But the top 6 only separated by about 2 seconds. You got to go back about 13 seconds to Bruce Wiley, who has not had the heat race that he would have liked. They'll have a shot at the feature race after the field inverts. Assuming nobody else crashes out or makes any major mistakes, he will be starting at the front. Harley Lewis trying to seal the victory. He's off turn number 10. His gap about 2.5 car lengths. Brian Kennedy again strong out of that corner. He's going to be close to alongside, or at least the quarter panel. Going to do a little switchback here. Jumps to driver's left. But not close enough to make an attempt to pass. Trying to cut tightly through that corner, actually clips the grass, and that could be a time penalty. To see how that all shakes out. 84 Tooling right there in behind, able to close up through that sequence. Look at the drive off the final corner. Porsche just so good through the center of the turn, but the BMW just able to pick up speed a little bit better down the straightaways. You can see just how much deeper Brian is able to go into the corner. If you're enjoying the racing action, make sure to like, share, subscribe. Do appreciate it very much. We're here each and every night of the week, and there's the pass for position. Scott Kim maybe overshot the corner. And Brian Kennedy able to take third away. The top 2 are long gone at this point, relative to what we've seen all race long, but Mike Nickham not letting Harley Lewis get too far out in front. That gap about 3 car lengths, about 0.6 of a second. That opens up just a little bit. We got side by side Scott Kim, Dean Tooling racing hard back here. Tooling trying to complete the pass, and he will do so. Scott Kim with the momentum on driver's left, going to be able to send it back down alongside. They are racing tight back here. Not able to get back through, but here he goes now. Going to maybe take a look down. Driver's right, no, not quite close enough. Matthew Gazenda maybe eyeing an opportunity to make a pass. Of this track, that they have 2 intersecting racetracks. How about Brian Kennedy? He is closed up now to the back of Mike Nickham. We're coming to the white flag now. Final lap. And this is going to be the last real opportunity for Brian Kennedy to get up there and capture as many points as possible. Harley Lewis came from the tail end, gets to the point. And then Brian Kennedy started 1 position further back, trying to finish just 1 position behind. They'd be even on points so far throughout the night. But has to make it work and try and find some way past the AMG machine of Mike Nickham, who's been a mainstay here in second place all race long, but goes a little wide on corner exit. Could be an opportunity. Shadowing the 57. The Porsche just not quite as good on the straights, but so good through the turns. You can see just later on braking, better through the center. Just not quite able to get back up to speed as quickly. A little bit smaller car, a little bit lighter. Not quite the same horsepower. Out of the Cayman GT4 machine, but this is a good opportunity. A little bit of slipstream down the straightaway. He's going to be right on the bumper. Going to take a peek down to the inside. This will be the move for second place if he can complete it. Backs out though. Again, trying to force that mistake from the 57. Good drive through the turn. And might be able to make something happen here, but Harley Lewis from 6th to 1st. Going to be able to take the victory in the heat race. And now side by side for second. Going to be a drag race. And not quite able to make it happen as they pile in. And we complete the race here. Harley Lewis gets the heat race win. Mike Nickham second. Brian Kennedy, Dean Tooling, Scott Kim, Matthew Gazenda, and Bruce Wiley. Going to round out the field through heat race number 1. We're going to go now to our halfway break to hear from tonight's race sponsors, and we will be right back. From the starting line to the finish line, and everything in between, Duncan Racing Designs is here to supply you with the livery you didn't know you needed. Let DRD help you look good so you can drive fast. Contact Duncan Racing Designs on Instagram, Trading Paints, or via email. This season of the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League is brought to you by Gunfire Games, developers of the hit game Remnant 2, now available for PC, PS5, and Xbox. For more information on Remnant 2, visit www.remnantgame.com. And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
Cabot,
where did he come from? Here comes Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it all.
Welcome back to the racetrack here at Twin Ring Motegi, or rather Mobility Resort Motegi, the full course for race number 4 of the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League. We're about to get going for our feature event where the drivers have been inverted from their finishing order in race number 1. Let's take a look at where they're starting here tonight from Motegi for your feature event. So starting from the top spot, it'll be Bruce Wiley looking for a better result. Start from first place. Matthew Gazenda going to be rolling off from second. Scott Kim going to be starting in the third spot after leading a bunch of laps. We'll see if he can end up on the podium here. Dean Tulin going to roll off from fourth. Brian Kennedy going to start from the fifth position, and Mike Nickham going to roll off from sixth. Harley Lewis, winner of the heat race, warming up the tires back here in seventh, and going to be shotgun on the field. So that'll be your starting lineup for the feature event. See how things go here after a very exciting opening race. Green flag is out, we're off and away, and Bruce Wiley in control of the field. Good start for everybody so far. Brian Kennedy feeling the pressure from Harley Lewis. Look at the big send from the 4 machine down into the corner, and here comes the 77 alongside Mike Nickham, who finished second and ran second almost the entirety of the heat race. And Brian Kennedy had a hard time getting by him there late in the going. They come across the stripe side by side. We'll see if anybody's going to be able to get by in the 57 of Mike Nickham. Only one driver was able to do it throughout the opening race, and that was Harley Lewis, who's right now starting at the back of the pack. Bruce Wiley, though, good start to this one. He's got about 4 car lengths working back into the turn. Make their way towards turn number 10. We've got contact. Harley Lewis and Brian Kennedy making contact at the tail end of the field. Let's take a look at what happened here. May have started with the 77 getting on the grass after making a move down in to the corner, makes contact with Mike Nickham, sends the Porsche around. Nowhere really for Harley Lewis to go. Gonna check him up, and they make a tiny bit of contact. They both get rolling, and far the 2 fastest cars on the racetrack now at a significant time disadvantage. Harley Lewis about 3.7 seconds off of Bruce Wiley, and then another 2.2 back to Brian Kennedy. And keep an eye up towards the front, and there goes the 77 sliding through the sand. What just happened there? We saw this in race number 1 as Brian seemed to have a tough time getting the tires underneath him. You can see here through the last couple of corners, car just not react how he wants. Ends up going sliding off at the hairpin turn, and he's lost a lot of time now. Gets it back rolling. But not where he would like to be after such a good qualifying and a good recovery in the first race. About 15.8 seconds behind your race leader now, so it'll be a tall order to get up there and maybe even get a top 5 before it's all said and done. But the top 3 start to pull away. Riley, Matthew Gazenda, Dean Tulin currently on the podium. Scott Kim in 4th with Mike Nickham behind. And Harley Lewis is slowly but surely starting to reel these 2 in. But already more than halfway through our second lap. Again, this should be right around 10 laps for this race, depending on the lap times, but we're seeing right now about 204 to 206 on lap number 1. Likely going to be about a second or 2 faster than that on lap number 2. Wiley at the top of the standings. It's Gazenda and Tulin trying to close in. And Scott Kim up 2 seconds back, but as those top 3 get to battling, there could be an opportunity How about this though? These two led a lot of the heat race. They're now running fourth and fifth. The Harley Lewis making off the final corner there. Major issues for him, and then it'll be a few more seconds till there we see Brian Kennedy make his way through the final corner and actually closing in on the rest of the field. The second quickest lap time behind Harley Lewis, who's the only one in the 159s on that one. Everybody else in the 2 minutes or 2:01s. And Bruce Wiley feeling that pressure from Matthew Guzenda. All over the back of the 67. The Remnant 2 machine. Being an opportunity possibly for a race win that can be very helpful in the standings. It'd be quite an improvement from the heat event tonight. In Tulane. Right there hanging tough with the top two. Little slide from the 52 machine of Gazenda, and big bobble from Mike Nickum as he tries to keep it in line with the 711 of Scott Kim. We give him a little bit of breathing room in the bright pink BMW. Again off turn number 10, back towards turn 11. You can see Harley Lewis closing in. He shaved off about 2 seconds from these cars in front. About a lap and a half since they had the issue. Ryan Kennedy's actually flying right now. He's closing in pretty quickly. It was at one point almost 16 seconds back. Now it's about 14.4. Just going to have to focus and keep his foot down as across the stripe. Wiley with the lead again. Matthew Guzenda lost a little bit of ground on the second part of that lap. Now battling side by side. There goes Scott Kim around right in front of Harley Lewis. Scott going to work back onto the racetrack now. And Kennedy should be able to get a spot away as the 711 just cannot get the grip. Get the tires hooked back up. Let's take a look at what happened through here. It was a battle between Scott and Mike Nickum. 57 looked down to driver's right, down into the corner, and Scott just a little bit too wide, not sure. But just lost the back end of that race car. And ultimately trying to get it pointed in the right direction, almost slid it right into Ryan Kennedy. So that is going to send Scott all the way to the tail end of the field now. After a really strong start to the race, looks like he is going to take it behind the wall. The top three still very close racing up at the front, and then Mike Nickum gotten clear of the 711 at this point. 4 of Harley Lewis up into 5th. Fastest car on track at the moment is Brian Kennedy, but very far behind. I don't think there's going to be enough laps in this one for him to close in. But never say never. Very possible that he could continue this pace and get up there and leaders get together, something like that. Harley Lewis has been able to shave the distance between himself and Mike Nickum from about 3.5 seconds down to under 1 second. Bruce Wiley's been perfect so far in this one. He's led every lap as we run now on lap number 5. Got about 4 or 5 car length advantage over Matthew Guzenda. These 3 very close in terms of lap time, only separated by a 0.5 tenth, and there goes Wiley off into the barrier. Just as you said, he'd been perfect in this one. Makes a mistake. Just lost the back end of the BMW. Not sure what happened here. It's back on the power. And maybe just a little bit too much of the curb, and that'll send him down into the wall. Actually, pretty decent hit there. Is going to separate the fender from the rest of that race car. And it could have caused some steering damage. He goes from first to fifth. That puts Matthew Gazenda to the top of the scoring pylon, and Brian, his 52 machine, maybe get his first win of the season. Ways yet to go, about 5.5 more laps. Game 2 lead not too far back, just about 1 second the difference between the top two. The battle is going to be on for the final step of the podium. Mike Nickum and Harley Lewis separated by 2 car lengths, working towards turn number 11. Really good run through turn number 14. He's going to take a peek. Good drive down towards turn number 1, and Mike Nickum going to leave the door wide open for him, and he will slip on through the 4 machine from 7th at the start of this one up to 3rd. The biggest mover by far, 4 positions gained. Not over for that spot, but Mike Nickum overshoots the turn just a little bit. That'll create a lot of breathing room, and Harley now going to be able to focus forward. And Bruce Wiley's still trying to recover here, see if he can get up there and battle for 4th. And you see Brian Kennedy, he's been able to close up through all of this, now about 12.6 seconds off of Matthew Gazenda. Again, fastest car on the racetrack, but about a half second a lap faster is not going to be enough. It'll need to be about 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds a lap faster. I just don't think it's possible. These guys are pretty much maxing out their lap times right now. Top 2 out in front. Harley Lewis up to 3rd, starting to close in just a little bit on those 2. It'll be 4 laps to go when they get back to the start-finish line for turn 10. Work back towards turn number 11. Wiley starting to close in on Nickum. Gap just about 1 second, so good recovery so far on this lap for the 67. Shows you just how competitive it is, though. As the top 2 getting closer and closer, Gazenda using the mirror a little bit more. And the difference this time, just about 0.2 of a second, make that a car length and a half. Through turns 1 and 2. They count that one as just 1 turn, but it's kind of a 2 apex corner. Turns 2 and 3, very similar type of corner. And the gap back to Harley Lewis is closing. That was over 4.5 seconds not long ago, but he was about 1.5 seconds faster than Matthew Gazenda on the previous lap. So far, a little bit quicker on this one. He's the 52. He must have had a bit of a mistake, maybe a time penalty. See the back end starting to slide around a little bit more in the BMWs. They have pushed really hard so far in this one. Harley Lewis going for the sweep of the races tonight, and the battle on behind him. Look at Bruce Wiley closing in. That gap just about 3 car lengths. Where he led the first 4 laps of this race before a mistake from the lead. Sent him all the way back to 5th, but he's put down actually the 2nd quickest lap of the race. So he's found some pace once again in that machine. We'll see what he's able to do here as this race goes on, but hold him off, finish fourth, maybe have a shot at a podium if anything happens amongst the top three. Matthew Gazenda, really nice lap this time. His quickest of the race, a 1:59.66. Dean Tulane, a 2-minute .1. About a half second slower. And then Harley Lewis not have the lap that I'm sure he would have liked to have had. That may be just enough to keep him away from the top two before this is all said and done. He ran a 2-minute .3. Behind, they're both in the 1:59.9, so really consistent again throughout the field. The fastest car only about 7/10 faster than the slowest car on that lap. But it all just takes one mistake to change things up entirely. Matthew Gazenda looking very strong as this race is going on. He's been out here for 3 laps trying to get another lap led. And they'll be coming back to 2 laps to go. He's put down some really fantastic times in this one and been very consistent and was putting pressure on Bruce Wiley at multiple points before the 67 made the mistake. Top two going to be fighting for the win. Harley Lewis starting to close back in just a tiny bit. That gap under 4 seconds once again. He's so good down on this end of the racetrack, able to close up a couple more tenths under braking. An eye on these two. It's going to get trickier and trickier as the tires continue to wear. A little bit wide through the final corner goes the 4 machine. But his pace has fallen off just a tiny bit compared to at the start of the race. A 2-minute .3. The leader's 2-minute .5, and it is going to be even closer once again for Dean Tulane trying to get his first win of the season. Battles though, because we are getting around this lap 2 to go. It'll be 1 to go next time by. The battle is on for the race lead. The battle's also on for 4th as Mike Nickham with the pressure from the 67. Bruce Wiley. He dealt with the pressure from Brian Kennedy in the last race. But maybe Wiley going to be able to pry his way through there. We'll have to wait and see. He's definitely a little bit quicker, about 2 or 3 tenths of a second per lap. But so tough to make that pass. He's right there now, about a car length behind. Now in front, Gazenda and Tulane. Harley Lewis all by himself has not really been able to make much more of an impact. Looks like he's going to try and complete the podium tonight. Nickham and Wiley, nose to tail. It is so close between those two in terms of lap time and pace. Right now, they're pretty much matching each other's corners, but a little mistake there. And these two did get together. That was the issue in race number 1. How about Brian Kennedy being able to put down consistently one of the fastest laps each and every lap. And white flag is out. It's a battle for the win. And Matthew Gazenda hang on to it here and hold off Dean Tulane, who's been so strong in this one. Up from 4th to 2nd. Just lost a little bit of ground through that sequence of corners. They'll race back towards turn number 4. The difference is just about 3/4 of a second. There's one mistake, though, from the 52, and that'll change things entirely. Right now looking very good and very strong. tell you, Harley Lewis slipped up a little bit. He could be in danger of losing the third position. Mike Nickham and Bruce Wiley not too far behind, but they've kind of separated from each other. Wiley maybe slipped up as well. Nothing really changing hands at the moment, but don't count out the 84 of Dean Tooling to find some speed somewhere or find an opportunity to make the pass. They work into turn number 10. Have to be really strong on the exit of this one to have any shot at it. And Gazenda just perfect through there, no problems whatsoever. Gap right around 3/4 of a second. Down into turn number 11. Hits his marks. Nice and smooth through there. Increases the gap actually by a couple of tenths. And through the final two corners, Matthew Gazenda going to come back around, and he is going to win from Motegi. Dean Tooling close in second. Third place going to be Harley Lewis. He's going to be able to hang on to that spot. And it's going to be Mike Nickham, Bruce Wiley, and Brian Kennedy, who was able to end up on the same straightaway as these guys before it's all said and done. And he will come home in the 6th position. Scott Kim going to round out the field tonight in 7th. Take a quick look at our results. Brian Kennedy filing in there. It's Matthew Gazenda taking the race win. What a great job there from the 52 to start second. Takes advantage of the mistake by Bruce Wiley. Able to hold on and hold off Dean Tooling by just about 7/10 of a second. Harley Lewis comes home in 3rd after winning the heat race. Mike Nickham going to finish in 4th. Bruce Wiley in 5th. Brian Kennedy 6th. And Scott Kim again rounding out the field in this one. We'll go to another quick commercial break. And we'll be right back to interview our top 3. From the starting line to the finish line, and everything in between, Duncan Racing Designs is here to supply you with the livery you didn't know you needed. Let DRD help you look good so you can drive fast. Contact Duncan Racing Designs on Instagram, Trading Paints, or via email. This season of the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League is brought to you by Gunfire Games, developers of the hit game Remnant 2, now available for PC, PS5, and Xbox. For more information on Remnant 2, visit www.remnantgame.com. We're back at the racetrack now. Going to be pulling in our race winner here tonight. We're going to go with him first. That's going to be Matthew Gazenda. See if we can pull him in. Hey Matt, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, how you doing, Adam?
Hey, pretty great, man. And what a race for you here tonight from Motegi. You get the win after battling there from second at the start of it. You followed the 67 machine, and he made a mistake. You're able to hold off Dean throughout the race. Just describe, both of the races here tonight at Motegi.
Yeah, both the races were really intense actually, because I think, even the first race we were all kind of together. Everybody was pretty evenly paced tonight. So the second race, I was pretty much doing qualifying laps the whole time, and Dean was, I make a little bit of a mistake, Dean would make a little bit of a mistake, but it was really close and really intense. Yeah, the track is interesting because there's really not a lot of places to pass. So it's, even the first race, you're kind of just, hoping someone would make a mistake, and actually, no one really did. I mean, there's a couple of little things, but everybody was super fast tonight, so I was really happy with the second race.
Yeah, definitely really close and competitive. This league continues to get, more and more competitive. You guys are all improving, alongside each other, and you get the win here tonight. We go to Phillip Island next week. How do you feel about going out there?
Oh, good. I like that track a lot, so I'm excited to try it in the BMW. I haven't driven it in this particular car, but I'm sticking to one car this season, so hopefully I can get another good result. So I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely important for you to get a good finish here tonight. The championship standings really really close amongst the top 10, and this will help you as you try and fight for that championship. But you get the victory here tonight at Motegi after starting in second in the feature race. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to Perry at Duncan Designs. He did the paint job on my car. It looks great. So I definitely want to thank him for that. And then thanks to Scott for running the league.
Awesome, Matt. Well, congrats again on the win here tonight. Go celebrate, and we'll catch you at Phillip Island next week. See if you can do it again.
Thanks a lot, Adam.
All right, thank you. That is your race winner, Matthew Gazenda. Congrats to him on the victory. What a drive from the 52 machine. We go to second place now. That's going to be Dean Tulane. See if we can pull him in here. Hey, Dean, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Adam, welcome back.
Good to be back, and good to see you up here on the podium after a really great drive. You were putting pressure on the 52 of Matthew Gazenda all race long, just not quite able to close the deal. But just describe racing tonight here at Motegi and how the car felt for you.
It was really fun, two races, real close. I mean, we qualified within 0.8 of a second, so it kept it real tight. And then that first race with Scott starting up front and holding up everybody, it was a lot of real fun, tight racing. Second race, that first lap, there's some of the faster guys got into an incident, which relieves some pressure. Then Bruce had his little spin, and I just couldn't chase Matt down. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you guys were kind of like matching lap times. He'd make a mistake, he said, and then you might make a small mistake, and it was just kind of evened out, but definitely competitive all race long amongst the whole field. We go to Phillip Island next week. How do you feel about going out there?
That's another one. I think this is the first time I raced this track. Phillip Island, I don't have much experience on, so I'll try and put some laps in this week and go out and just have some more fun. So I guess I feel just as good next week as I did this week.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people, it'll be their first race or maybe their first race in this classic car next week, so I think it'll be pretty even across the board. But Dean, you come home second tonight after a really strong run. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Thanks, Adam. I really appreciate V-Speed. Glad to have you back in the booth. DRD and Gunfire Games. Definitely appreciate our sponsors and Scott for putting this together.
Awesome, Dean. Well, congrats again. Go celebrate, and we'll catch you at Phillip Island next week.
All right. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you. Second place finisher, Dean Tulane. Let's go now to our third place finisher and winner of the heat race and see if he joins us up here. Harley Lewis, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, copy.
Oh, Harley, not quite the result here in the feature event, but you take the win in the heat race after charging from the back, and you had the pace here tonight. Just the early run in there with the 77 machine held you up just enough. But just describe, chasing these guys down, making some passes, and these two races here tonight at Motegi.
Motegi is a little bit of a different track, it's kind of turn full throttle, but decent turnout this week and some really close racing. A couple guys, fun or something had happened, but for the most part, I mean, that was the blast. Wheel to wheel racing, real tight. Can't ask for much more.
Yeah, almost like pack racing and maybe like a NASCAR super speedway is what it felt like, relative to some of the other tracks we go to. You guys were all really close and competitive across the board. Um, we heard it was tough making some passes here tonight, not a lot of passing zones, but where were you able to find some opportunities to make passes?
I don't even remember. I just just know sometimes you're gonna get a run and you got to kind of take it. A couple times I had a look and decided maybe not enough overlap or no sense pushing it. Um, but yeah, at a turn one maybe down to the straight. I'll have to watch the replay.
Yeah, it was definitely so close and competitive, and even when people made attempts to pass, it looked like it was, you really had to send it down into the corner. But you made a lot of passes here tonight, biggest mover in both races, and you take the victory in the heat race. You come home on the podium in the feature race. Anybody you want to give a shout out to before we head on out?
Shout out to the league, you for doing the broadcasting here, and then all the guys that turn up every week to have a lot of fun on the sim.
Awesome, Harley. Well, congrats on a great night of racing for you here tonight, and we'll catch you next week at Phillip Island.
Amazing. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you. That is your third place finisher, Harley Lewis. And let's go now to our race winner. Once again, that's Matthew Gazenda. Congrats to him. What a drive tonight. It's going to be very close in the point standings exiting tonight's race. And this will surely help the number 52 machine as he tries to make his challenge for the championship. But we want to thank you so much for tuning in here tonight from Motegi for the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League. Make sure to tune on in each and every Thursday night, as well as all the other nights here on the channel. We've got lots of racing action on V-Speed. Make sure to check us out on our social media accounts to see what we're up to. And we do appreciate you tuning in, and have a great night.